Good morning and welcome to United21 Season 28. We've got a brilliant game of Counter-Strike on the cards for you today as we enter, well, towards the end of the tournament. We've got the consolidation final as we find out who will be our second team making it into the grand final. So this game will be JohnnySpeeds versus KUBIX. We saw earlier on yesterday JohnnySpeeds make their way through ENCE Academy in quite a close affair, and we also saw previously Kono absolutely demolish KUBIX. KUBIX themselves, if we can have a look later at their bracket run. At the moment, KUBIX have actually only beaten one team in their playoff run overall. They've beaten Adventurers, which, that being said, Adventurers is a big name to take. Adventurers won Season 27, and KUBIX did take them down. But since then, they got a forfeit win versus Inner Circle, and then they got demolished by Kono. On top of that, they do have a substitution coming into this best of three, just like they did for the first map against Kono. They've got Bledard playing in place of View. I believe yesterday View's internet was acting up, wasn't being consistent enough, so they had to play with the standard on the first map. And I think it might be the same case here today. But there we go, bracket on your screens. As you can see, the actual full run overall. We also had JohnnySpeeds. They started in the upper bracket just like all the teams, but moved immediately down as they lost to Devils 1. But since then, they haven't dropped a game. They managed to 2-0 Brute. They then managed to 2-0 Inner Circle, and as mentioned, a 2-1 versus ENCE Academy. But in that 2-1 versus ENCE Academy, the one thing I want to highlight was Draken was missing. He's been by far the heaviest hitter for JohnnySpeeds, the most experienced player on the server, but he's wielding the AWP, a very expensive weapon. And he was pretty much missing for most of that game against ENCE Academy, which is quite strange considering he's up against less experienced players in that game. As you can see, Veto on the screens right here. We've got the nuke ban coming out from KUBIX. Makes sense. It's their perma ban. We've got Train as well, the perma ban for JohnnySpeeds. A Dust 2 pick for KUBIX, Inferno pick for JohnnySpeeds, Anubis and Ancient ban, and a Mirage Decide. And now looking at this veto, I just have to say on the surface of things, this leans heavily in JohnnySpeeds' favour. JohnnySpeeds are comfortable on Dust 2. Again, as mentioned, the heaviest hitter of Draken can be a real threat on that AWP on this map. The Dust 2, the AWP is Paradise. Move over onto Inferno. Inferno is JohnnySpeeds' perhaps preferred map. It's the map they're most comfortable with. And again, looking at the results for Kono versus KUBIX, KUBIX did not show up at all on Inferno. He got 13-1'd by Kono. Admittedly, Inferno is also a very good map for Kono, but KUBIX looked non-existent on it, and that was when they actually had View in the lineup. They weren't working with the stand-in on that map, and they got demolished. So looking just at the surface of things, I'm expecting Inferno to be an incredibly one-sided game, but Dust 2, that's where the real question marks come into it, and we will be heading straight into the first map of this series. We'll have KUBIX on towards the T side. JohnnySpeeds on the CT. Trippy boosted up, looking to see if he can find early pick in towards middle. Oh, does land the dink on towards Draken eventually. But Draken has brought the cover for his teammates to work their way in towards the lower tunnels. Amar just holding for that push, and a flank will come in. Cali activate it on the first. JohnnySpeeds in a little bit of a precarious position now, concerned about being split in towards tunnels, but KUBIX, they're just going to bypass that. They're going to accelerate in towards long, realizing that it's a heavy plane towards tunnels. They'll attack the weakened site. And Amar still a threat here on the flank. Ooh, pulls the trigger. It gets a little bit scrappy, but we'll find Sapek. Rolf and Shine in the 2 versus 3. Shine at least be able to pick one off, but is quickly traded by Bledard. The rest of JohnnySpeeds overwhelmed. KUBIX, the nice little pistol round, shutting down JohnnySpeeds' aggression, and a good reaction to the information that they had gathered. JohnnySpeeds, though, going to be going for that second round force bite. If Draken can get involved with the scout, get this sniper rifle activated. KUBIX going to be using the Mac 10 to its best ability to get aggressive fast. They take lower control, 1 minute 34, and they're already working their way up short after having cleared lower, but it's the MP9 of Shine that gets involved first. But he's only good for 1 and a dink before falling, and in the meantime, Rolf has also been picked off towards upper tunnels. So man advantage for KUBIX. They're just going to sit and freeze and wait for the counter-aggression to come from JohnnySpeeds. Liam will just walk straight through the doors into Bledard's crosshair. All three of these fights by JohnnySpeeds taken before Draken could even really get involved with the scout. That being said, the health on some of these KUBIX players is still relatively low. Start pressuring in towards mid. Missed shot from Draken, and he will be punished. Hunted down. Amar finds the right timing to fight Sapek. Back turn to try and support. A full eco right now for JohnnySpeeds. Flash and a B250. They're going to be rushing in towards tunnels. KUBIX going for more of a top mid default rather than a lower tunnels default. Therefore, they'll bypass the USPs. The USPs have made their way into spawn, but look at this positioning from Amar. This is not often you see this position utilised. He'll activate early, and he'll find 3 kills rewarded for his patience and his trigger discipline. When Sapek sprints up towards short, not realising that Bledard's still towards the top of mid. KUBIX will convert that pistol into a 3-0 win. Again, a reminder for everyone, the stakes for this match. It's the consolidation final. The loser will finish in 3rd place here at United21. The winner, the opportunity to battle against Kono in the grand final to contest for 1st place. Amar use that spawn with the AWP to find the early pick. Draken boosted up. Gets one in response. So 4 versus 4. But with that pick, it means there's got to be a gap for the CTs, which Trippy tries to exploit. But in doing so, he's on his own. Yes, he found the gap in towards mid, but overextended a little bit further beyond that. Was caught by Sapek. So man advantage, and AWP, Bledard catches Draken. The AWP has exchanged blows. That puts Shine in a very awkward spot. The lone defender of A, and he doesn't have short or long control. So he's going to start searching towards long, but Amar, we've seen him being rewarded for his patience time and time again. This time, not the case. His reward should be a bullet to the dome. Man advantage. Shine will just preserve his life towards long. And in doing so, allows KUBIX to plant the bomb on A. JohnnySpeeds needs to try and calibrate this retake, but they're retaking from 3 separate angles. There's 0 tradability behind any of these fights. Kali will isolate one, Bledard another. Suddenly it's a 1 versus 2. A very strange retake attempt from JohnnySpeeds. It's retaking 101 to make sure you group up. Have some level of tradability. The point of having a man advantage, the only way you can lose a round once you've got a man advantage is if you do not trade. So do everything in your power to make sure you're tradable. JohnnySpeeds is the exact opposite. They split up all at separate angles, separate fights, 1v1 fights. You've got a man advantage, take a 2v1 fight instead. At the very least. Now the bank broken for JohnnySpeeds. Again, they're on a half investment. Some Deagles, single SMG. Quick smoke thrown, and Trippy's going to try and use it to take a solo fight. A solo fight, he'll win. In fact, he'll do a little bit more than that. Finds 2 quick kills. And again, his tradability was not there. He was taking that solo fight. He could have given up a kill, given up a rifle, but instead he gets a double kill. Very high risk play. But the reward comes back tenfold. Sapek mollied out. KUBIX will deal with the pistols. As risky as it was, again, that play, I do not recommend that from Trippy. Just walking out short on his own up against pistols. If he goes down there, JohnnySpeeds could have won that round with nothing but deagles. Because they would have got a man advantage, it picked up AK. And nobody was near to trade. But fortunately, Trippy holds his own. He's going to be doing the same again here. Solo push straight down middle. Knife out through the mid-smoke. Read this CT setup beautifully, but the CT setup absolutely demolishes the B part of the push. Trippy, though, still a threat. Oh my goodness, the double kill. He suddenly pulled it back into JohnnySpeeds, into KUBIX's favour, and then some. Headshot onto Liam. Has these CTs locked in and even drops a molly just to keep them at bay. Smoke to add to the fire. Higher Mar spots them boosting up. Random spam from Shine will equalise things. A 2 versus 2, but there's no kit on either of these CTs. Gamezilla will seal the deal. Draken have to look to save. Massive round from Trippy. Again, that's a 3 versus 5 that KUBIX had, and they win it thanks to Trippy's individual heroics. Just sprints straight through the mid doors. Reads that JohnnySpeeds went for a 3-2 setup and left mid completely open. And even though JohnnySpeeds shut them down at the tunnel, Trippy will get a triple. Now SMGs again for JohnnySpeeds. This time, fight towards long, they're able to shut down Trippy. And Cali too, so man advantage for JohnnySpeeds, but the rifles have not been picked up. And Rolf doesn't want to risk going down in the process of retrieving them, so he'll just completely disengage. KUBIX are kind of relying on that long play to work out. They've now got 3 players just sat in towards the long doors. No map control and no information on the rest of the map. They will start to contact their way forward. But look at this push from JohnnySpeeds going on a flank. This is a really nice push from them because they can then pick up the rifles and do so silently. At least with Liam having a deagle in hand, now an AK. Now getting this flank. And Liam will strike. 2 quick headshots, but 2 quick on the trade. Flank does get shut down, but the man advantage, JohnnySpeeds prevail. 5 and with 2, they get the first round on the board. Oh, Draken, a big pick with the AWP. Almost a quick scope at that point. Looking for a little bit more. He breaks open the mid-smoke. Big scout to take. The X-Factor of Trippy. Kali will walk through the smoke. Sapek sits and holds. Trying to disrespect Draken, but there's more players on the JohnnySpeeds side. Present a threat. And oh, Draken, oh my goodness, he must have spotted barely a pixel of Bledard. To finish him off. Amar tried to walk through the smoke again. A second attempt from KUBIX. This time they do eventually take down Draken, but not before he's already found a second pick. And oh, this is a risky push from Rolf, but it pans out. Gamezilla. A bit of a whiff on a player not looking at him. That leaves Amar. Now in a 1 versus 3. Bomb not in his control. Locked in towards short. And Sapek will pluck him from the air. As JohnnySpeeds find their second. KUBIX cash flow starting to dwindle. So much so that they're actually going to be going for a half buy. They could have squeezed out a full buy with 3 rifles and 2 compromises, but instead they're halving, just relying on Kali's AK. Contacting their way in towards short. Well-timed smoke from Liam. Won't just hold KUBIX at bay, but will push them back a little bit. Buy some more time off of this clock. And with that time, JohnnySpeeds start to gather information. Util thrown in towards mid. Try and blind the CTs, keep their attention towards mid. And a lovely HE softens them right up. Liam tagged down, relying on his flashes. It's not clean, but he is just about staying alive. Finally, Kali's AK gets involved in the action. And Deagle lands a beautiful shot, but it's Liam with the USP. Will shut down Kali by space for Draken to get involved with the AWP. The JohnnySpeeds, they do lose 3 players on that assault. But they find their 3rd round. Draken a forward play here with your Molly at his back. Spots the shoulder of Trippy. Trippy falling back here to hold for the push, but a good trade from JohnnySpeeds. They go 1 for 1. Trippy now has the information. 2 players spotted upper, 1 lower. That means at most there's only 2 players towards A. Likely only even 1. KUBIX will accelerate up on this A site. Big HE to blow up on the cross, but Gamezilla will find Liam's head. Plant it on a stake on short. Beautiful Molly. We'll delay this bomb plant. Rolf is still sat on the B site. And as he's sat on the B site, Kali will just kill all of his teammates. Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't rotate on that one. Considering all the information that you had, you'd cleared out tunnels, you'd lost long, and you'd lost the A site. You still just sat crouched underneath the window. He's got no choice but to save. JohnnySpeeds haven't built up enough bank from their 3-round wins in a row. They lost a few too many players, especially on the last round, for that to be the case. with the save, he'll be able to drop over an AK, or M4, should I say, to Shine. Everyone else will be able to buy. Liam and Sapek will be light on utility, but Draken can get the sniper. JohnnySpeeds going to be playing in towards short control. Searching for a pick to try and stifle this default. Gamezilla head down. Now playing a game of whack-a-mole, and fully running will actually find the headshot of Liam. Fapek just about able to stay alive, despite being fully blinded. Look at this smoke play coming out from Trippy. Beautiful over the top of that smoke. Easy headshot towards Rolf. So 5 versus 2. JohnnySpeeds have been picked apart. All their rotations compromised. Shine and Draken just looking to save. Draken at least get a couple exit kills. He's now run out of bullets, has to go for the USP. And, oh, it works. But again, the thing is, JohnnySpeeds are losing so many opening picks on the rifles before Draken can get involved in the AWP. You either need to see Draken try and match the pace of these openings so that he can get involved in the action, or the rest of JohnnySpeeds need to slow it down if they can. Try and play around Draken's AWP. But to be fair, right now it's KUBIX who are setting the pace. It's KUBIX who are the ones getting aggressive, finding picks across the map, getting information. JohnnySpeeds unsuccessful on their save. With only 1 round left in this half, they needed those weapons to be able to buy, to be able to get anything, to get rifles. Instead, they've got 3 MP9s, 4 MP9s, and a scout on the final round of the half. There we go, Draken with the scout. Opening pick. The MP9s will take tunnels control and it'll push a little bit further forward. But a lovely little hold will shut them down. We'll go 2 for 1 outside the tunnels. Putting us into a 3 versus 3. Mark falls all the way back with the bomb. JohnnySpeeds will start to search with their MP9s to re-clear outside the tunnels and able to pick up an AK for their troubles. And Draken with the scout lands another. Looking for a little bit more. I don't know, Bledard, top and mid. Now pinned on the right-hand side. Sapek's going to walk all the way underneath. Deal with him, spots the barrel. Be an easy finish. Leaving a mark and a 1 versus 3. Open pathway to the A bomb site. Get it planted. Smoke towards short. Flash in towards CT. Needs to try and isolate some fights here. Again, JohnnySpeeds grouping up. This is a much better retake attempt, even though they're having to go through a smoke, all 3 of them together, and there's trade potential. When 1 fight is taken, 2 more are taken at the same time on the same player. So JohnnySpeeds will find the final round of the half, and that was a round with MP9s and a scout, but it's much better. Like, when they've got the MP9s and the scout, they're playing better CS because they're getting involved in the fights. They're taking the fights on their terms. The MP9s clearing aggressively in towards tunnels, forcing KUBIX to make decisions rather than sitting in their defaults. And Draken getting involved a little bit more with the scout ready to punish those decisions. Because the issue right now in CS, in my opinion, at least on 3 maps in the map pool, on Anubis, Dust 2 and Inferno, is that it's not just viable, but it's optimal for the Ts to do nothing on their T side. On their T side, they will just do nothing, to stand still, to sit and wait, to spread out and default. Inaction is the best action for the Ts right now. But the counter for that for the CTEs is to force the Ts to act, force the Ts to make decisions so you can lay traps, so you can punish their mistakes, so you can punish their actions. But to do that, you can't just split up in default and take fights and just play aggressively. You have to play aggressively together as a team, go for overloaded plays, as JohnnySpeeds did just there on that last round with a 4-man push in towards tunnels with the MP9s. Making heavy gamble plays. But you have insurance policies for those gambles. You had Draken with the scout who's ready for the reaction in towards middle. Second pistol round. KUBIX aggressive in towards middle, but Draken is going to be sitting here waiting for the P250 and all the timing. It's exactly when Cali peeks the top, but Shine there to shut him down with the Glock. Man advantage. That was Shine who had a wealth of the utility. JohnnySpeeds' hands. They had bought 2 smokes, 3 flashes and a P250 on this round. 1 smoke already used to try and get them on towards the cross. Trippy will start rotating in, but blinded by Shine. Liam will catch him off guard. Draken with 1 through the smoke. Gamezilla and Bledard. And the 2 versus 5. I think they may be tempted to save Bledard with unscathed Kevlar. Gamezilla. Kit 2 flashes. All of which are worth keeping. JohnnySpeeds haven't taken a point of damage in this round so far. And now Bledard's Kevlar has been damaged because he stuck around. I don't know why he didn't just run towards the B site and save with Gamezilla. If he kept his Kevlar intact, he could have been able to get a helmet for only $350. Instead, that discount is null and void because his Kevlar is damaged. And look at that, he buys a scout, $350 left over, that could have been a helmet. It's interesting, they're going for a full force buy, but 2 players still with 300 in the bank. They could have afforded an extra grenade, the old smoke. That could have been the difference maker, especially with that little utility that Gamezilla had being burnt away already. JohnnySpeeds holding passive. They know KUBIX are either ecoed or on a force bite. Either way, they have no utility. So just making sure that aggression is not likely. Bit of utility to keep the CTs honest in mid. In the meantime, JohnnySpeeds will take long control. This is where Bledard lies in wait with this scout. This is the first shot. JohnnySpeeds now have that information. They'll start posturing up on towards the site. Oh, utility rains on in. Bledar just about escapes 26 points of health. But Liam will come in with the entries. 2 lovely kills. Shine gets involved too. It's just Trippy and Cali stuck here in towards CT. And they will be hunted down. JohnnySpeeds now up to a 6th. This was quite a dominant first half initially from KUBIX, being 6-0 up. Going into an 8-4 half. JohnnySpeeds closing their scoreline down. And oh, Gamezilla. There we go. The Juan D gone towards Draken. Draken, who was looking to farm some cash. He had the SMG. He'd allowed his teammates to invest into rifles. He was looking to farm some cash to be able to get an AWP up nice and early, and he's immediately been domed by a Juan D. That's a man advantage for KUBIX, and off the back of it, KUBIX have cleared everything out. They've cleared all of middle, cleared all long. It leaves only the B site. Bledar has actually managed to avoid this utility. Gamezilla, another Deagle. Trippy with one more. It's a 2 versus 5 now. There's 4 players on this site. JohnnySpeeds absolutely fumbling the bag. A lovely transfer from Shine. But it's all null and void. That's all JohnnySpeeds will be able to find. KUBIX with just Deagles on a full eco will steal that round away. JohnnySpeeds hitting a massive blunder there. Draken getting Juan Deagged in towards middle, towards the suicide. JohnnySpeeds' reaction is to literally just go 4 players in towards the tunnels. As KUBIX get all the information, not deterred off of long. They continue to peek towards mid after the confidence of the first one dig. And JohnnySpeeds don't punish them for their overconfidence. Like JohnnySpeeds going to be going for an all-in play on towards this B-bomb site. Cali in front of the utility will find one first, but fully blinded. Both he and Trippy will then fall. A 4 versus 3 bomb site loss. KUBIX already commit to the save. The thing is, they have, well, they don't have a great amount of cash, but they could have been tempted to at least give this a attempt, but no. 4 versus 3. Even with the utility, just commit to the save. JohnnySpeeds will get up to a 7th, but KUBIX, both winning an eco as well as saving 3 on that last round, will still be able to invest. Four rifles plus the AWP. And Bledard, did he not buy an incendiary? I'm seeing this a couple times here in tier 2 where we see some AWP. Okay, Rolf. Okay. Okay. I'll shut up. What a pick. Draken will then come in with 2 clean headshots. Finally being a little bit more assertive, leaving a mark on this game. KUBIX are all falling apart at the seams on this round. But as I say, I've seen a lot more in like tier 2 where AWPers are just skimping on their odd piece of utility for some reason. Reckon with this picked up, or won't allow the save to come through. So JohnnySpeeds will continue their tear on this T side. And KUBIX will be back down to another eco. They've finally had their cash broken. Although that being said, Bledard able to get up a hero AWP. Smoke on the CT cross. Forces GameZilla to hold a little bit of a wider angle. Vision slightly obscured. JohnnySpeeds play for a 4-man long control. Leaving Rolf to lurk in toward the tunnels. Oh, they'll accelerate, tried to leave long. Amar tries to lock them in, but he's only good for 1. Sapek will combine for 2 to give the man advantage, but that's when Bledard's AWP gets involved. But look at that quick trade from Liam. 2 clean headshots, leaves it all on GameZilla. His position now known. JohnnySpeeds will just get this bomb towards the B-bomb site. Liam holds down that rotation and will collect a triple kill. A really fast reaction there from JohnnySpeeds. They take long control, make it look like a default, but they have that constellation of Rolf still lurking towards tunnels. With tunnels clear, JohnnySpeeds just immediately pivot. They immediately change direction, start sprinting out away from long, and just snowball, bulldoze over KUBIX. And that's them tying the scoreline up. 9-9. KUBIX a very static hold here, quite passive one too. GameZilla are about to be tested on this A site. JohnnySpeeds are taking short control and they're looking to just execute straight upon it. Under the cover of the flames, GameZilla is able to find 1, but it's a lovely trade from Rolf. Bomb will be planted. Planted for short control. 4 versus 4. Shine still a threat towards long, can come in on a late flank. Certainly is taking his time because KUBIX have already set themselves up for this retake. Few players working their way in. Trippy is involved in the action. It's all on Rolf. How much can he delay for Shine to get involved in the action? Just enough. And time ticks off this bomb. Amar has to commit to the save. I did get really worried looking at the minimap. How long was Shine going to just sit in T-spawn? Like, he wasn't even in long doors. He was in pretty much where he is now on the minimap. Just sat waiting for the long push. It's like, well, I'm not going to push long. The bomb's planted on A. That's JohnnySpeeds now up to 10. T side looking very formidable here on Dust 2. And not only that, not only have they taken the lead, not only have they hit double digits, but again, they've broken the bank for KUBIX. It's another half investment. Going to see the AWP still in Bledard. Amar. Single M4. The mid utility from Draken. Try and prevent short aggression. Flash will come in, pushes Amar back. Let's try and get involved in the action with this M4. Kali will actually find one with the flank as he pushes long, finds the right timing. Small gap in JohnnySpeeds' default is they often don't have a player sat watching long control. He's going to cause some trouble for JohnnySpeeds as now they don't know how to rotate. Do they deal with Kali or not? They start to accelerate towards B, but that's where Bledard's AWP is found. Rolf will cut him down. Amar's M4 doesn't land anything. Liam taking matters into his own hands of two lovely headshots. Put into a 3 versus 3. KUBIX. Round is still on for them. Kali's picked up an AK. They can go for a retake, and all three players coming in through short. One trade. Draken's still a threat with the AWP. Lands a tag. And a good adjustment on towards Trippy, who can't finish him off. Leaves Bledard the AWP of his own, and Draken knows. Just sit back. Bledard to fall away to save. JohnnySpeeds recover from a 3 versus 5 deficit. To take their 11th round. Tactical pause taken by KUBIX, their first of this map. Again, 8-4 was a score at the half. It's now 9-11. Never forget. It's JohnnySpeeds winning 7 of the last 8 rounds. Only just now did KUBIX take a tactical timeout. Actually going for a double AWP setup. The thing is... Ooh, Kali will actually find that opening kill onto Liam. Thing is, I haven't really touched on it yet, but as mentioned, Bledard is standing in for View, but he's standing in on the AWP role, and when you're playing Dust 2 and your AWP is your bottom fragger, that is not a good sign for Dust 2, especially on your CT side. This weapon is incredibly important. It's vital to your CT side on this map. Posted up at the back of the B-bomb site again. Mollied out. Caught in transition. Trippy will hide inside the smoke, swapping places. But in doing so, accidentally kisses Draken in. Draken not very happy with that. A flank will come in from Gamezilla. Maybe he can get one. Maybe he can get an equalizer, but spotted. In fact, both players are now coming on the flank. They can swing off of Shine's contact and off angle under the window. He'll hold for one. Rolf's swing will come through, but Amar ready for that one. And Shine, after spotting the last player, will disengage. Falls away. And oh my goodness, Amar jumps over Draken's crosshair, but Draken's so experienced enough to just whip out that Tet-9. Go straight for the head. JohnnySpeeds map point here on their opponent's map pick. We do have a quick technical pause. Change up for KUBIX. Bledard posting towards long. Again, they'll find the pick. Giving themselves a man advantage. But KUBIX have not been able to convert at all so far in these man advantage situations. The reaction to that long control, even though they've got a man disadvantage, they're still going to push in towards tunnels. They'll clear that out. That push has been spotted by Draken towards T-spawn. There's information that can be relayed across. Consider the scout. Looking to see if he can land a tag or two. Drops a smoke on towards catwalk. Tries to buy some time. Liam will creep underneath the smoke all on his own. Walking in. Oh, beautiful clear. Beautiful crosshair placement before the flash even pops. Find the headshot towards Cali. So an equalising frag. KUBIX not set up for that trade potential. JohnnySpeeds will speed up on this B split, on this mid to B hit. Amar will charge through the smoke, but Liam has it watched. It's just Trippy on the back of this site who needs to try and defend. JohnnySpeeds, this attack is quite segregated, as I'm about to say, but Trippy domed by Sapek. Now it's GameZilla and Bledard in a 2 versus 4. GameZilla will accelerate and finds not one but two. A clean headshot on towards Shine. The bomb site now in the hands of KUBIX. They just need to defuse this bomb. 10 seconds and GameZilla will collect a triple. There's nothing Draken can do with this AWP. He can't force his way through the smoke. He will choose to, I believe, save. GameZilla steps up to the plate with a triple kill. Picks up that AK and sees how sporadic, how separated JohnnySpeeds are. How sort of straggled that B site hit was from JohnnySpeeds. You had two players sprinting towards mid to B, two players still in middle. And GameZilla just bypasses the two mid players straight in towards that B site and finds two players caught off guard, not expecting GameZilla to be so quick through the doors. That's all. Find an opening pick again. It's the HE from Trippy. Actually nets him 2. 2 versus 5 now. And KUBIX still playing with disrespect. Cali's going to walk all the way through the smoke and catch Liam back turn. So 12 to 11 are going to be going all the rounds here on Dust 2. We have another tactical pause out with JohnnySpeeds. They have just about enough to fully invest. Get 4 AKs, AWP, full utility. JohnnySpeeds going to be going to the vanilla lower tunnels default. Addition of a boost in towards suicide. I'll take lower tunnels. Use some utility. Make sure they can leave tunnels in towards middle. Kind of just sat holding for the pushes. KUBIX actually doing the same. KUBIX, it's a heavy lean over towards the B site, but it's a very soft hold on A. They're not playing for long control nor short control. It's a soft hold on long. It's Amar playing on the corner, playing to fight, but playing to give up the map control. The thing is, if you give up that map control towards long, if he is contested, if JohnnySpeeds do try and fight him and he falls away, KUBIX then have nowhere to defend the A site from other than the site itself. It does appear that JohnnySpeeds setting themselves up for another short hit. Sapek lining up the util on short. KUBIX unwavering in their setup. Committed to the hit. HE tries to blow open the smoke, and Bledard will find a fine pick on towards Shine. Good adjustment on towards Sapek. This is where Bledard needs to step up to the plate. Shine, or Rolf even, tries to get involved towards Long, but does not expect Rolf to, Amar, sorry, to just be sat there on towards Long. And Bledard has done such a good job at stalling this JohnnySpeeds assault that a quick reaction comes out from KUBIX on the flank, and we will be going to overtime. A tied scoreline in regulation, 8-4 halves either way. Not enough utility there from JohnnySpeeds to make Bledard uncomfortable. And again, I mentioned it, we called him out a couple rounds ago. Bledard underperforming on that warp. How pivotal a weapon it is. With him at the bottom of the scoreboard. Now actually overtaking Gamezilla, both of which had some high impact rounds to prevent JohnnySpeeds stealing this map. We'll now have neither side impeded by cash flow issues whatsoever. Mar again, a soft hold towards Long. Has to fall back. Fortunately, with the new box, they're able to react off of losing Long by taking short relatively quickly. KUBIX, as Bledard gets his AWP posted. A reaction to losing Long, they take Tunnels control as well. And with that information that Tunnels is clear, they're able to cheat over a rotation of an extra couple players. So we now have 4 CTs to defend this A site, but a wide swing from Amar somehow gets away with one. An unnecessary peek. Absolutely punished. And now Sapek. Another 1-for-1 trade. JohnnySpeeds trying to bore all behind this smoke. A CT smoke deployed in front of Gandalf will give them a lot of cover, but cover that JohnnySpeeds won't respect. And Gamezilla just a wide swing, punished by Draken. It now leaves Bledard with this AWP in a 1 versus 2. Make it 1 versus 1 against the rival AWP of Draken. 40 seconds left. Oh, and Bledard knows. Here's the steps of Draken going for the peak, and Bledard can shuffle, shift into the appropriate angle. And Bledard finds the clutch again, finding the impact in the later stages of this map. JohnnySpeeds used their last tactical pause. KUBIX have started to find a little bit of a winning formula here, playing quite heavy towards this B site, not giving up these early picks. In fact, they're the ones winning the early fights now. They lean heavier towards B, they can take this fight towards Tunnels more confidently. Look at this push. Amar around the back of the top of mid. Push Long, coming on the flank. We'll catch Sapek back turned, he'll pick him off and then get away. 1 kill and surviving is his job done. Disrespect coming in from Cali, straight through the smoke, catches Liam. Just expect a second. 2 versus 4 for JohnnySpeeds. And again, with the fact that Amar pushed Long and got a kill, he could be anywhere as far as JohnnySpeeds are concerned. They've got no idea where he could be. Could have pushed back T-spawn, could still be top mid, could have run back towards long. Has been the latter, prioritising just surviving. Bledard. Oh, he's really starting to heat up here on the CT side now. (14-12). Bearing in mind, T-sided map. A very T-sided match as well. Again, KUBIX, it's this 2-3 that they're resigning into. Not playing in towards mid, not playing in towards short. Just not giving JohnnySpeeds any ability to find these early picks. It's a soft hold towards long. JohnnySpeeds should set themselves up for an A split here. That is kind of the counter to what KUBIX are working with. There we go. They find a mark. Start to take short control. Bledard himself looks to fight. An equalising frag. Rolf still with short in his hands. Will punish Bledard. Makes his sight infinitely weaker. It allows JohnnySpeeds to start accelerating from long towards the site with much more clarity. KUBIX now look to retake one from short, one from CT. Off. The smoke fades. Rolf wins that engagement. Just GameZilla. 1 versus 4 and Shine. Swings out with confidence. A 2-1 half here in overtime. JohnnySpeeds need a clean 3 to be able to take this in a single overtime. To lose just 1, then they'll at least have to go to overtime again. KUBIX. Again, taking mid-control with pace. We saw the issue for JohnnySpeeds on their CT side was the riflers giving up fights long before Draken could get involved in the action. VM picks up another HE. Start pressuring in towards mid. Second smoke actually extinguishes the molly. Reaction from JohnnySpeeds, perfectly timed. Rolf tries to fight in towards tunnels, but look at this, Trippy already in through the doors. Sapek, the world on his shoulders, but the weight crushes him. Man disadvantage for JohnnySpeeds. It's going to be a very difficult retake, especially with Amar in this position on short. Listen out for a lot of the information. Very late flank coming in from Shine. Draken still concerned about the possibility of a flank. Time ticking off of this bomb. Mar makes his presence known towards Draken. Shine will deal with him. The flank coming in towards Huddle, but a quick pivot from GameZilla. Liam and Draken, no chance on this retake. Draken Draken not playing with Liam whatsoever. Draken almost playing as if he was retaking with the AWP and regulation. This is overtime. He doesn't need to worry about saving the AWP. He can afford it every single round. So you don't need to sort of play this sort of tentative play where you sit back with the AWP on a retake and see if KUBIX make a mistake and walk into you. For you to then go on the retake and if not save, because there is no saving here in overtime. Go for the retake and commit with it. Follow through. Oh, missed Molly. From Trippy. Quite disastrous one. Bledard pins Draken into the dirt. Pick again. Bledard warmed up a little bit more with this AWP. Trippy. Solo push in towards the mid doors on his own. No trade potential whatsoever. Gives up the man advantage that Bledard had gifted them. Cali trying the same thing out towards short, but fortunately Shine. It's a solo defender. Sapek will at least drop the bomb. 50 seconds left. Util deployed, but the molly is late from Bledard. It means that Rolf can fight. But eventually, KUBIX will deal with the JohnnySpeeds plays in mid. And we will have a 16-13 scoreline there. A little bit of a comeback made by KUBIX to bring it to overtime. JohnnySpeeds, again, a couple issues on that CT side. Draken, a little bit slower to get going on the CT side. Struggling to get involved in the action. The CT is not playing together. And again, a massive, massive glaring error or glaring flaw in JohnnySpeeds' style of play on Dust 2 is their retakes. Their retakes look very disparate. There's very little organisation. There's no one taking control, taking charge and saying, look, this is how we're going to retake. This is the structure we want to hit this bomb site with. Instead, it looks like a lot of individuals making a lot of individual plays, which KUBIX were able to punish on Dust 2, just about managing to take their map pick. But we're going to be moving over onto the map pick of JohnnySpeeds, and that is Inferno, coming up in 10 minutes time. And we are back here in the consolidation final between KUBIX and JohnnySpeeds. Loser goes out in third place, winner through to the grand final. Stakes are high. KUBIX just about managed to scrape by on their map pick of Dust 2 after making a comeback from 12-10 down, I believe it was. Take it in overtime. We now move on to JohnnySpeeds' map pick, where they're undoubtedly the favourites on this one. But a good aggressive start from KUBIX. They shut down any presence in Banana from that flashbang. Trippy with a double. Bledard, Pit. Beautiful tap on the first and on the second. Looking for that third. Rolf with the Glock will tap him down, and even the second. Looking for the 1v5 here. Can isolate the players. To a 1 versus 2. Plenty of time on the board. Smoke towards long has disappeared. Needs to try and isolate another fight. Kali wisely groups up with his teammate to make sure that they can take a fight together. The peek comes through from Kali, catches Rolf lacking, and it will be a 1-0 start for KUBIX on their CT side. Now again, last time we saw KUBIX playing Inferno, they got 13-1'd by Kono. KUBIX looked like they had very little to go to use on this map. We know this is one of JohnnySpeeds' preferred maps. Despite not getting a bomb plant, JohnnySpeeds are still going to be forcing up. Couple Mac 10s, couple Tech 9s, and a Deagle. All of which backed by Kevlar and the odd grenade. Will be a smoke. Mid to B smoke, but a trap played bare here towards long, but it's only good for 1 each. 2 for 2, and rifles now picked up for JohnnySpeeds. That's a big win on that initial engagement. Kali will start shifting in towards Archway, seeing what he can find. That smoke in towards Library. We'll let him know of their location. GameZilla in the meantime. The bottom of Banana. Steps made by Sapek, and oh, he turns away, right, as GameZilla starts to peek. This is sort of timing for millisecond. Sapek still has it watched, was walking backwards. Still concerned about the possibility. Now looking to hunt GameZilla down, but the MP9 will strike whilst the iron's hot. Kali spots out the bomb in boiler. Draken tries to take the peak, but Kali will take his head. Shine tries to group up to join, but swings into 2 separate players. KUBIX stay afloat, surviving with 2 players up against the force buy. JohnnySpeeds had a great opportunity there, putting it into the 3 versus 3, picking up 2 M4s. That fight towards long was without doubt a victory in JohnnySpeeds' favour, but they fumbled the 3 versus 3. All they needed to do was take the fights together. KUBIX had to split up. They couldn't afford to all be grouped up, to be playing together, because there's only 3 players in Inferno. I mean, the sites are so far apart, you can't be making gambles like that. And they could have isolated GameZilla, for example, but a 1v1 taken gives them that opportunity. Sapek will punish Kali's aggression. GameZilla, quick adjustment on the jump. Led out of the farm some cash with this MP9. Draken alone, tagged down. KUBIX will deal with the pistols on Banana. But in all honesty, a 3 versus 3 on Inferno, the T should be winning every day. To be blunt. Especially with that much time on the clock. It's one of the reasons why this map is now T-sided. Because as soon as you get those picks, you get those trades on that T side, the CTs struggle in the mid-rounds. An even state of affairs. As soon as they lose players, they have to spread their defense thin. JohnnySpeeds are just going to speed up in towards Banana. 2 quick opening kills. There we go, B site. It's open for business. Trippy will try a desperate spam through the smoke. See if he can isolate some fights. Does isolate Liam, but over the top of that ledge, Liam will take his head. JohnnySpeeds will just ferry this bomb over to the B bomb site. The other KUBIX players, Amar and Bledard, barely moved a muscle since losing the B site. JohnnySpeeds will choose to just save. Rolf was one of the only players with full HP. Just make sure the bomb isn't being defused whilst they're escaping.
Terrorists win.
See, KUBIX could be buying up here. I want to say this is a bit of a force buy, but it's a really weird money management. Amar could have dropped over an MP9 to Gamezilla. Chosen not to. Gamezilla sitting towards the Deagle. Cali with the MP9 is able to actually find 2, so an equal trade at Bernard. But again, 3v3, the T's should win this every single day. They can sit back, punish any aggressions that KUBIX decide to make. And even if they execute onto this B bomb site, they'll still have a 3 versus 2. They'll still have a man advantage. They just need to trade out. Additionally, KUBIX don't really have the utility to counter an execution. Oh, spotted. Towards Dark. Amar. Good for 1. Gamezilla 2 quick and whips out the Deagle for a 3rd. What a brilliant hold from the back of the site. JohnnySpeeds unable to trade him. Unable to punish his peaks. Some quick shots with the AWP. Keeps KUBIX in control of this first half. And again, remember, this is a T-sided map. Expecting 7-5 in favour of the T's. KUBIX already up on 4. Draken, early pick, Bledard. To the crosshair, man advantage. And Kali looks to recover that. Just takes the fight on his terms, catches Sapek off guard. Oh, and Draken won't allow Gamezilla to escape. He worked to get them the man advantage, that opening pick. And I'll cover it back in their favour once more. Four versus 3. Again, at this point, there is no chance for KUBIX to get proactive. They have to make gamble stacks. They will gamble stack towards A. JohnnySpeeds. They know that they burnt utility away on B. And there's fewer variables to have to worry about on this B site when it comes to executing. On A, you've got to worry about long splits. You've got to worry about the extremities a little bit more. Whereas B, it's simple. Just go in towards Banana, smoke CT, molly out the site. The only extremity to worry about is coffins. Again, you can also smoke off. Much easier to hit. And you already know that you've burnt off most of the utility on Banana. You can see the A player is still holding on to most of theirs. Trippy and Amar. KUBIX with the save, still able to invest. A couple weapons dropped over. They can work with 5 rifles. Again, heavy towards B with 3 players on banana. JohnnySpeeds are contesting. They're taking log control, and Liam will shut down any aggression that comes its way. Gamezilla just about escapes on 20 points of health after finding a trade. With JohnnySpeeds, they're picking up the pace. They hear the steps. They hear the rotations. They fall back in towards the side. Gamezilla picks off another through the smoke, but again, traded. 3 versus 3. Bedell's location known as he tries to spam down through the smoke, but the bomb planted. JohnnySpeeds now have 3 players available to establish themselves a post plant. Oh, a bit of a mistake. He trying to blow it open and expose T's. Flash comes in, it does. Blind some of these players. It's a difficult crossfire to break. Draken overextends in towards CT. But some missed shots from Bledard on the M4. Amar, the health low on these players, but a double swing comes out. There was such little time on that clock. JohnnySpeeds could have perhaps tried to hide, but with the player tucked in towards pillar, decided to go towards the double swing. And if they had mistimed it again, single bullet could have been the transfer, but they time it well. And JohnnySpeeds find 3. KUBIX find the bottom of the barrel as far as their funds are concerned. Oh, Trippy with the shotgun. Hero weapon. Does find one, but Draken. It's the wall bank. Shuts him down. His top mid setup has been figured out. JohnnySpeeds keen to not allow KUBIX to save any weapons. Just going to hunt down Cali. JohnnySpeeds tied the scoreline 4-4. Using only 2 players, it's still profitable. They build bank. This time KUBIX going to be playing passive towards banana. They've not been successful at taking these fights early on. Trying to take banana control. Instead they're going to be sitting back. This worked for them on Dust too. Just sitting back, not allowing JohnnySpeeds to find these early picks. The early fights are what JohnnySpeeds were loving to win. Not only that, it means KUBIX can save their utility. Oh, but JohnnySpeeds are ready with the counter. As soon as the counter util comes in, there's a counter flash from Liam. Lines the retake attempt. JohnnySpeeds are going to fight in off the back of that. Gamezilla doing such a good job at the back of this site. We'll find 2, looking for the 3rd. Shine will disengage. They've realised that they've over-rotated. They've brought 2 players towards this B-bomb site. Amar The solo holder towards A will drop a smoke. Do JohnnySpeeds respect it or not? No, they don't. They flash their way straight through. And Amar, only good for one. The famous, a difficult spray to tame, to control. Good luck landing transfers with that weapon. Even with the buff, it's the spray pattern that's honestly what makes that weapon so hard to use. But a 2 versus 2, the retake is on, but there's no kit, so they've got to get a move on. Draken with the AWP will find one, and the swing will come out from Rolf. So JohnnySpeeds now in the leads. Again, a bit more of a passive hold, but KUBIX now on pistols. JohnnySpeeds is starting to play a little bit more disrespectful in towards mid. You can see Liam has walked in solo. This is very risky up against pistols. Up against rifles, if he did this, and he died, that's it. You lose the pick. But up against pistols, not only do you lose the pick, you also give them a weapon. You give them an upgrade. The AWP is actually going to find two. Liam then activates. Draken's AWP dropped, but Shine stops Bledard from picking that up. It's now just Cali with the picked up rifle in towards CT. JohnnySpeeds can get this bomb over towards the A site. Smoke in towards long. Isolates a kill. Or charging towards the site. Shine goes for a low scope of all things and just about gets around the corner. Cali going to be dropping a smoke on the bomb. But no kit. Head spotted of Sapek. Knows he's not on the bomb. Shine. Got a P250. This is not the weapon to try and stop the defuse. Fortunately, Cali, though, is low, so only one bullet. All that's needed. But again, that goes to show the level of how playing disrespectful like that up against pistols. I mean, I say disrespectful. That's not the word, but making solo plays up against pistols can very easily unravel around. That went down to a 1 versus 1, and you're up against P250s, Deagles. Because Liam pushing to CT, he gets one, but he's traded. That's an AK then in the hands of Cali. And like the odds when you're on pistols are so incredibly low that that AK can be such a huge difference to the CTs. Trippy. Playing forward. Close to boiler. Lining up behind this mid smoke. He's going to fade in a sec. Spots out one. Almost gets a second, but a quick trade. In the meantime, another pick has been found. Gamezilla spam through the smoke onto Liam. Will trade Trippy's death. Sapek and Rolf. Versus 4, creeping up towards short. Bledard overextending towards short, gives them a way in. Now no crossfire to be held on site. It's all on Sapek. The ragdoll on the site blocks our vision. Good HE. Gamezilla onto 7 points of health into a 1 versus 2. Health low finishes him off now to the 1 versus 1. Spotted out Cali. Plenty of time on the board. Sapek will use the cover of that smoke to pick up the bomb. Cali uses it to buy time to allow him to reposition. He's going to go all the way through apps. He can look over the top of the smoke unless Sapek gets around the corner in time, which he does. And he's just going to sprint towards the B site. He's read this incredibly well. Knows that Cali would either play behind that smoke, ready to play, use it to give him some space to take the fight on long, or he's used it to buy time to go towards short. So he clears out the former, figures out it's the latter, and he can get himself all the way over to this B site. And as Cali makes this long rotation from A to B, More time ticks off this bomb. Already half ticked, 20 seconds left. Kali has to make noise due to the time. Tap the bomb. Sapek calls his bluff. Or did Kali know if he stuck that, he maybe would have got the defuse. Instead, JohnnySpeeds will collect 7th. And that was a 2 versus 4, dare I say, thrown by KUBIX. And actually a 1 versus 3 from Sapek. Wouldn't have happened if Bledard hadn't pushed in towards short. No need whatsoever to push in towards short with York there. Play the crossfire. Instead, the setup was broken. Solo fights were then offered up. Let me do have a quick technical pause. JohnnySpeeds, off the back of the long technical timeout, will pick up the pace and completely catch KUBIX off guard with a bit of a banana rush as they catch off Kali. But look at this push from Trippy. He's used it as an opportunity to go on towards the flank, and he'll find one. Gets information, drops the bomb, and off of his contact, that's when Bledard tries to strike from the site. Util deployed. And Rolf still a threat on this lurk. Will deal with both the A players, including that flank of Trippy's. And the bomb can make its way over towards A, but it's not even needed. Gamezilla walks into Liam's crosshair. Easy headshot, and 8-4 half. That's 7 in a row from JohnnySpeeds. As soon as they had that edge, as soon as they had momentum, they dictated the pace of this map. KUBIX simply could not take banana control. Had to play passively, and as soon as that happened, JohnnySpeeds had the control of the information. Could push and pull the rotates from that point onwards. And even then, a couple of the rounds, I'd say almost half the rounds which KUBIX won were off the back of Gamezilla getting multi-kills from the back of the B-bomb site. Second pistol round will commence. And KUBIX seems to be picking up the pace in towards middle. Roll for solo holder. JohnnySpeeds actually stacked 4 players towards B. Rolf, here's the steps of them fighting in towards short, so he'll take middle. JohnnySpeeds now with their full rotation have a trap completely set in towards CT. Liam and Shine will find 2 apiece, leaving Cali in a 1 versus 5. Creeping up Banana, bomb not in his control. He won't find a thing. It's a nice attempt from KUBIX going for the mid rush, but it was a mid to B. And JohnnySpeeds is stacked B. So that rotation met KUBIX with full force, putting them now onto 9. Cheeky boost over the top of the smoke will net JohnnySpeeds the first pick, and a trap set as KUBIX tried to spring into that boost to catch them off guard, but there's another player lying in wait with a crossfire, and Boiler is leaving it onto Amar in a 1 versus 5 who found the time to creep through long. Good for 1, but nothing more as JohnnySpeeds meet double digits, and the force buy for KUBIX meets its end. Small things like that from JohnnySpeeds, which KUBIX completely lacked on their CT side. The ability to find these opening picks relied almost entirely on solo aggressions. Bit of a nade stack attempt here. Towards the bottom and middle, bottom of Banana. Neil will be the one to find the opening. KUBIX on a full eco here, just with Deagle, seeing if they can punish any greedy JohnnySpeeds players. A single bullet to the dome. JohnnySpeeds, though, already with a man advantage, having softened up a fair few players. They're just going to reside to sit in their crossfires and their bait and switch setups, which KUBIX don't have the utility to break. KUBIX don't have the weaponry to pull it apart either. Though Amar will find Rolf. Rolf struggling in that fight. We'll have an 11-4 scoreline as KUBIX invest back up AKs, a single AWP. Draken able to get his sniper rifle out nice and early and using a very early spawn to attempt the pick. Nade stack towards the top of mid. Does soften him up somewhat. If he had gone a little bit further on the peak to peek in towards the bottom of mid, in towards T-ramp, maybe those HGs would have finished him off. On the boost over the top of Logs. That's Cali 1, but it is traded. I will say a 1-for-1 goes in the favour of the T's. Oh, and Sapek ready for the counter boost again. Now that engagement, CT sided, they're the ones with the man advantage. Well-timed utility to block here towards 8. Amar's going to start searching towards apps. Player walks up towards short. Head spotted by Ralph, but Amar found Draken, and Rolf doesn't have any more bullets in his gun. So he'll be overwhelmed. 2 versus 3 potential retake. Not anymore. Shine should look to save, but I don't know what happened. I think he maybe got caught in some clipping or something, but he couldn't move back around that corner with the AWP. JohnnySpeeds still able to force by Draken another AWP. But we will see a couple MP9s at a 5-7. KUBIX setting themselves up early to hit this A site. MP9 from Liam strikes. He can tuck himself into the next corner by time for his teammates to engage. HE will eventually finish him off, but JohnnySpeeds have done the job to get a man advantage here. Not only that, but JohnnySpeeds have secured all of banana control and they've posted up Draken with this AWP. A deep angle. KUBIX either have the choice to walk into the heavy stack of 3 players or walk into the AWP of Draken where he has deep information. They'll actually end up doing both. So 2 players will fall, leaving Bledard in a 1 versus 4. Realises Draken is solo, so he's going to accelerate into him. I believe he spotted him out towards CT. Draken will peek on the timing. Before Bledard can whip out the gun. Yeah, I don't know, from KUBIX on that one, kind of hitting their head against the wall in towards middle. They walk their way in towards a stack with no information. And then in the 3 versus 4, I have no idea what their plan is. 1 player pushes banana. 1 player is sat in towards boiler. It's like there's no cohesion from KUBIX on that one. You can already read the JohnnySpeeds setup. You made 0 presence on banana. You've not got it. A is going to be stacked. You have to push back banana before you do anything. Or at least have a much more coordinated hit on towards A. Could be the final round of this map for KUBIX. This time, a little bit more confidence from Kali in the banana fight. Fades in towards the smoke, but Sapek expect this. He should do. After being blocked in towards the smoke. Will realise. Disengages and finds that kill. 2 more players fall. Quick succession. As KUBIX, the desperation starts sinking in. This T side is looking nothing more than a pug from KUBIX. It's as if they've never played this T side before, which we know is not the case. Bledard is in a 1 versus 4, and it looks like he's going to be trying to save here, but he's sat in the back of T-ramp. 13 points of health. No map control. Draken will have him pinned at the bottom of mid. A 13-5 scoreline. As expected on this map, domination from start to finish from JohnnySpeeds. The rare glimmers of hope that KUBIX were able to find was off the back of a pistol round win, followed by Gamezilla getting some multi-kills to keep them alive on that B-bomb site. Other than that, that was all JohnnySpeeds on that map. But again, it's not a map which KUBIX really have in their map pool. It's one of JohnnySpeeds' best maps. But that does mean we're going to a deciding map here in the consolidation final. All to play for. 1 map sits between either of these 2 teams and the grand final. Stick around. We'll be back in 11 minutes' time. been a long road for both of these two teams as we enter the final map of this, well, third place decider, really, between JohnnySpeeds and KUBIX. The winner, of course, as mentioned, goes through to the grand final, and it's all coming down to Mirage right here. The knife round could decide it all. Both teams have had certain struggles on either map, right? On Dust 2, sorry, the first map, we saw that both teams really had lackluster CT sides on that map, and it was all onto their T sides that were coming out clutch, coming in with the advantage until KUBIX managed to make some last-minute adjustments. Whereas on Inferno, that was simply a case of KUBIX just not able to play that map whatsoever, and JohnnySpeeds absolutely dismantling them. And that does leave us here, as mentioned, on Mirage, which is a map which, I'll just double-check the stats, a map which JohnnySpeeds are very comfortable on, in fact. They've got an 88% win rate on it on HLTV in the last 3 months. That's out of 8 maps played. KUBIX, on the other side of things, they haven't too many HLTV maps picked or played on this one. Only 2 with a 50% win rate. So not really large enough sample size to go off of to draw any conclusions from. But we know for certain JohnnySpeeds should come into this one swinging. We're coming in with the momentum, with the energy off of that dominant display on Inferno. KUBIX will start this pistol round slow, just a 2-man search towards underpass. Liam will clear out apps. But his push being held here on the stairs, and he'll fall victim. Amar and Trippy are going to try and take that space over towards B. In the meantime, Rolf takes a peek towards stairs and is absolutely domed by Cali. So JohnnySpeeds are being picked apart, being pulled apart even. Unless Sapek can try and deny this plant, but it's not clean. Not clean whatsoever. Can't land the instant shot. The player planting just diverts, just pivots. Sapek falls. Draken in a 1 versus 4, and he has a firing squad set up, ready to execute him should he overpeak again. Not enough time to win this round, so we're just going to see how much damage he can do or whether he can save the Kevlar. It'll be KUBIX to get off with the pistol round here. JohnnySpeeds, though, going to be forcing up, and Sapek going for the UMP, interestingly enough. With that scout, but Trippy straight into that angle. Pre-fires, Draken, easy headshot. No response from the Swedish sniper. Weapon retrieved by Shine. KUBIX very split up as of now. A minute on the clock and they'll start to collect themselves over towards B, but JohnnySpeeds have gone for a bit of a gamble stack, leaning heavy towards this B bomb site with 3 players out of the 4, and the 4th is on his way soon. Shine, early tag on the first, will make it an easy finish off a Rolf, and a lovely Deagle headshot on the second, but Trippy, Amar, and Cali will clean house on the rest. A little bit sketchy. Rolf able to get that double kill. KUBIX stay afloat. JohnnySpeeds will have to eco. We'll see USPs and a Deagle is all for them. She's stacking up on this A site, going for the triple boost. But a sprint, a mid-rush from the MAC-10 of Gamezilla will shut them down. Liam, though, with the Deagle, up close and personal. Finds 2 lovely headshots. Puts into the 3-on-3. Unfortunately, he will fall quickly, and now it's just the USPs to try and withstand this assault in towards CT. Gamezilla will mop up the rest. There's some decent shots there from Liam. Should be a confidence builder for him. Such a young player. I want him to come into this game filled with confidence. First gun round now for JohnnySpeeds. We do have that AWP on Draken. An early flash in towards ramp. Liam will actually be the one to finish off Trippy. Something we already know, KUBIX is Mirage. They do like to go for these sorts of aggressive plays out of the ramp, especially Trippy. Callie actually found the time to walk out of this palace smoke, but Rolf will punish him. So 2 of the heavier hitters for KUBIX already in the dirt. A 2-man disadvantage. At the very least, Bledard has got short control, but with a MAC-10, this is a really poor weapon for him to be fighting up short with. If they do decide to split, he'll have to rely quite heavily on his teammates coming out of apps to be a big distraction for him to close this distance. He takes contact first in this crossfire. Will be unbroken for JohnnySpeeds. They'll have a clean round. KUBIX, after losing only 1 round, they are down onto pistols. Going for a half investment here. Gamezilla with 1 AK, but they're going to find 2 openings very quick after creeping all the way in towards mid, catching JohnnySpeeds off guard towards connector and short. It's another AK picked up to boot. Now in the hands of Callie. Draken will at least be able to find Trippy. And again, KUBIX start to collect themselves over towards B. Gamezilla works his way through short, catches Draken, isolated and alone in connector. JohnnySpeeds at the very least have read this and have both players here to defend. Now it's all on Shine. He'll find 2, reposition, low on bullets, needs to be clean. That he is. To the 1 versus 1, Gamezilla low on health. Shine knows who's pushing his way in towards short. The reload will confirm his location. Head, I believe, spotted. At least I think Shine has spotted Gamezilla's head. He'll just tuck himself in towards the van. Oh, needs to be aware of the possibility of him pushing up on the left-hand side. 30 seconds. Gamezilla's picked up the bomb and spots the head of the top. Shine, I don't know why he's exposing himself on the top of the barrel like that. I get searching towards the bench, but the longer he stays up there, the more he risks Gamezilla coming in from the left-hand side and spotting his head first. I mean, it would have been a 1v4 in all fairness from Shine. Did such a good job of getting those first 3, but the 1v1, I'm going to say, he choked that. Aggressive in towards the top mid smoke. I'm not sure if his steps were heard. I think they were now because Gamezilla's gone for the spam. Trippy and Callie work out of the A site together. 2-man peek from Ramp and Palace will completely catch Rolf off guard. Shine again, this time on a 1v5 scenario. Completely locked in towards jungle. Dealt with relative ease. Already we can identify a pattern emerging on KUBIX. It's something which I believe it was in the game against Kono on Mirage, which we saw them do quite a bit, was Trippy and Kali just walking out Ramp and Palace simultaneously to take a 2 versus 1 on the default player after, on the A site player after the rest of the players default in towards mid, make it look like a normal round. And it's something which they did against Kono a lot, but Kono were able to counter it. JohnnySpeeds, I fear, don't have the team level coordination to set themselves up structurally to prevent that. They rely on individuals making adaptations rather than the team making adaptations. We saw from Kono what they did was they were playing quite their A anchor, either retake or, well, retake towards CT or playing retake towards stairs and jungle, so he could double up in towards connector. On this one, JohnnySpeeds, there will be ecoing, there will be pistols, and that one scout which has already lost the fight, bled out all. Setting up for the B split, a nice molly from Amar that'll land both on Balk and trickle down towards the van. HE will be enough to finish off Sapek. KUBIX just continuing on this B split. He's Rolf in a 1 versus 5. Rolf in a 1 versus 5 will just elect to save his Kevlar. Save that $650 investment. Perhaps see if he can get an exit. Save one of these AKs. But KUBIX will be disciplined and they won't hunt. They'll forge their way up on towards 6. At the moment, JohnnySpeeds are struggling to counter KUBIX mid control. They've taken it for free round after round. Uncontested. And yet they still catch JohnnySpeeds off guard when they're at the bottom of middle. Okay, here's the change up from JohnnySpeeds. They play a little bit heavier towards connector, but KUBIX already one step ahead. They're just going to be brawling out towards the A site. And this will test Rolf in that retake position. He just sat out in the open. Really isolated. An easy fight taken for KUBIX. Couple stragglers picked off on the cross, but it's still the advantage for KUBIX. The bomb is planted. Draken and Shine on the retake, but there's no kit for them. Molly will at least allow them to run into a 2v1. Replenish with the smoke in towards connector. But GameZilla will walk through in the timing to catch off Shine. So KUBIX find their 7th. And again, for JohnnySpeeds, after watching them quite a bit over the last couple of months, it's quite clear to see the weaknesses for them are the 2 anchor players of Rolf and Shine. Rolf can have his day depending on the map, but here on Mirage, you can tell he's just not quite so comfortable anchoring that A site. If he's done his research, done his preparation, by watching any demos of KUBIX, you'll be able to identify straight away that, okay, Kali and Trippy walking out of that A site is a threat, and he should have been adapting to that before this map even began, by playing over towards jungle or towards CT. But right now, because he's not done that research, he's one step behind, and he's having to play towards jungle. The first time he does, it's when KUBIX just contact and pop out of A, and his reaction to that pop, rather than anticipating a heavy player count, is to fight them in towards jungle in a pre-fireable anticipated angle where he has no control of the fight. Rather than just doubling up in towards connector or tucking in towards stairs, causing KUBIX to have to wide swing. Gives them that fight nice and early. And again, KUBIX, they take mid control, uncontested. JohnnySpeeds to make their way in towards underpass. Drakken's Deagle at least finds one ahead, so they find the first pick, but again, still utility in the hands of KUBIX. Picking off a couple more players, and Shine with the MP9. That's borderline a free kill, but goes for the body spam with their MP9. It's the headshot which makes this weapon so deadly. Now it's all on Rolf. The health is actually quite low on some of these players. 1D on towards Amar. Picks up the AK into a 1 versus 2. GameZilla will be able to get this bomb safely towards the A site. Drops a deep molly in towards the murder hole. Will stop him walking towards jungle. Very wise from GameZilla. But Trippy holding on towards short is such a good position to hold for rotations. HE soften up Trippy somewhat. But with no kit and no utility, it's going to be borderline impossible for Rolf to defuse this bomb. He starts to search for GameZilla. Doesn't clear ramp diligently, and GameZilla will find the AWP kill. GameZilla is up to 14-2. I mean, this is no disrespect to GameZilla, but he's not the fragging. You know, he's not the heaviest fragging department on KUBIX. You're looking at Trippy and Kali to do that. But I think that goes to show the level of dominance that KUBIX are having on a game-wide scale. That GameZilla just rushing in towards mid, who's playing sort of these aggressive entry roles, is 14-2. He's not being shut down. And again, it's back to regular programming for JohnnySpeeds on this in full investment. They're just going to be sat in a default. Rolf. This time it's a little bit slower for KUBIX on middle. Therefore, JohnnySpeeds cheat that rotation. Draken getting in towards the A site. GameZilla's actually going to find Draken. The swing comes in from Trippy, catches Liam. Rolf doesn't even get any utility off as the hit comes in, and it all falls apart. Again, the site hole just crumbles. It's a little bit of a contact taken. They win the fight versus Draken, and then the entire setup falls apart. Leeming Connector turns his back as a walk comes through the smoke. Because they've already identified, because JohnnySpeeds have identified themselves that their A site defense is currently a weakness, so they overcompensate by rotating early. By rotating too soon. Struggling to trust Rolf to anchor that A site. Well, he shouldn't be in that position anyway. Round 11, JohnnySpeeds going to be forcing up, and this time they play a little bit more disruptive. Again, this is what annoys me about watching JohnnySpeeds, is that they have games like this. We saw it on Dust 2 as well, or on their CT side, they're playing default CS. They're losing to the exact same things round after round. Whenever they make an adjustment, the other team are one step ahead and anticipate the adjustment. But JohnnySpeeds constantly playing on the back, playing reactively, playing to their opponent's pace. When on the CT side, you need, nowadays, especially in today's meta, you need to be setting the pace yourself on the CT side. You need to be forcing the Ts to make mistakes, forcing the Ts to play reactively. So an aggressive push in towards middle on a force buy, it works because they disrupt KUBIX. They stop them from taking mid control. Now the guns come back out, and guess what? We're back to a default. This time, Draken, though, a little bit more aggressive. Rolf will shut down Callie's lurk. Some more confidence found here from JohnnySpeeds. A 4 versus 4. Gamezilla again has crept underneath it. And he can very easily walk underneath Draken's crosshair. Amar shuts down Liam's push. Does Gamezilla check this corner? No, he doesn't. Free kill for Rolf. Sapek hold his own here on the B site. Amar trying from an air assassination. Ledard will find the kill on the second time of asking, but that's when the rotation comes through. 9-3, JohnnySpeeds finally put up some form of a defense. Finally try to stop KUBIX from enacting their game plan in those last 2 rounds of the half. Only took them 10 rounds to realise they needed to actually disrupt KUBIX. KUBIX are now just 4 rounds away from a rematch against Kono in the grand final. We're going for 4 sets of Kevlar, smoking a kit on Gamezilla. It's a heavy B-site stack. I do like these overloaded pistols. Playing retake towards A. JohnnySpeeds sprinting towards mid-control, using a jungle smoke to allow them to have cover from the A site. That cover of which they will burst through. Callie already dinked, has to give up CT, waits for his teammates to come in to retake CT with him. It's a 3-man CT retake, 1 from short, 1 from ramp on the flank. But they need the CT players to take contact first. So they have the trade potential. Hope to buy time and distraction to cause ET to look away, but Draken, a 90-degree, or 180-degree pivot to land the headshot on ramp, and Liam will decimate them in towards CT, leaving Amar. Beautiful round from Liam and Draken. Get JohnnySpeeds on the board here in the first half, in the second half. KUBIX was such a heavy lead. Don't need to risk a force buy. Go for a force buy, they could risk JohnnySpeeds closing that distance even more, so they'll just allow it to be an eco. Get a full buy as quick as possible. Gonna start pushing in towards the ramp, spots a shoulder of Rolf. A single bullet lands its mark. Slow round from JohnnySpeeds. They are setting themselves up for a bit of an A split. They're taking top mid control. Sapek coming towards underpass as well. Right toward top connector. Shine with the Mac 10. Farm some cash. Decides to go for a jiggle fight, which is exactly what USPs kind of want. They want the jiggles. They don't want you to swing. I'll only find 2 kills. Will KUBIX as USPs. Won't really find any challenge against the A site exec. First gun round for KUBIX on their CT side. It's a gun round with very, very limited utility. Bledard even on a glass cannon AWP. JohnnySpeeds, it's a slow start. We secure mid-control, wait to see if there's a KUBIX reaction. KUBIX on the minute mark. Deploy their last 2 smokes. Gamezilla, bit of a spam. I believe has at least spotted someone there through the smokes. Draken faking an A split. A little bit of util thrown in towards jungle. Slash will buy him the space and time to try and cut off these rotates, but it's still reliant on a successful B site hit, which is simply not there right now. They'll at least be able to find 2, but now it's all on Liam. Seconds, position known. Time being bought by Cali as the rotation comes in, but he'll win the fight regardless. KUBIX now on double digits. And 3 players surviving means that it's still profitable. JohnnySpeeds forcing up, but Amar confident here on the stairs. Easy headshot on towards Draken. The leader, JohnnySpeeds, in the ground. Sapek, the lone AK, start to try and brawl out. As they do, the rotation comes through from KUBIX, and Bledard unfazed with this AWP. At least Shine will shut him down with the Tech 9, but it's all on Sapek on no health. An easy body shot. Amar will collect a triple kill in total. Start the round as he finished, or finish as he started. Other way around. KUBIX now on 11, just 2 rounds away. And JohnnySpeeds, that was a force bite. You know what that means? Bank broken, it'll be an eco on this one, unless they choose to go for a desperate force again. Perhaps taking a tactical pause to discuss exactly that. They will indeed choose to go for that force. It's Tech 9 Kevlar buy, plenty of grenades. Very much doubt they'll go for a default. It indicates to me a bit of a set piece. Yeah, we're going to be sending 4 players towards A, make that 5 after a top mid smoke thrown. Readying a full execution onto the A site where Cali currently defends. Will come through. Cali behind the triple will find one. Bledard through the smoke will find another and picks out Sapek through the air. Oh, and as Cali gets killed through the smoke, Trippy will walk through on swap places with Rolf, catching him off guard, leaving him the lone defender. And the force bite finds only 1 kill on a full A site execution. Barely any presence made in towards mid by JohnnySpeeds means that KUBIX can easily rotate in, and the 2 players who are closest have no trouble in picking off the first couple players. JohnnySpeeds, again, it's another force bite. already 2 opening picks. The mid presence dismantled. JohnnySpeeds are setting themselves up for a bit of a B split. And now it's just a simple B hit. They'll accelerate. The utility will come through, but so will the rotations from the CTs. Just Draken and Rolf. Leave it on just Draken. Not a single kill. JohnnySpeeds will go out with a whimper here on Mirage, failing to adapt on that first half. It means that KUBIX will be going through to that grand final. A little bit of a disappointing showing from JohnnySpeeds again. A little bit of a glaring weakness in a couple of their players who were easily exploited. And it seems like without Draken firing on all cylinders, they lack a lot of clear direction in how they want to approach things. Something which they really do need to go back to the drawing board and have a look at, because there is a lot of potential on this lineup. They made it this far, but it will be KUBIX, as mentioned, into that grand final. JohnnySpeeds losing out in 3rd place. That does mean that the grand final is set. Kono versus KUBIX, a rematch of the upper bracket final, and that'll be taking place tomorrow morning at 10 CET. So make sure to tune in for that one. But other than that, it's been that's the day done for us here at United21. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.